Today I'd like to discuss flashbacks. I'm not sure how many people are aware that that's even a thing. My only reference was from some cheesy movies in the 80s and 90s or some cartoons. I'm not even sure if I thought they were real or not. But about in the year 2022, I remember listening to an audiobook by Peter Walker, and it spoke about flashbacks, what they were, and how to manage them. It clicked. It basically feels like you're stuck in a memory loop, reanalyzing, reliving the distortion of a memory. Sometimes you even try to change how that memory's outcome is, and even though logically you know that's not possible, that doesn't stop your brain from trying. My memories of a childhood would leave me reliving abuse so much that I couldn't eat or sleep or focus. I'd wake up in the middle of the night and not be able to get to sleep because I just could not get my brain to shut up. I would go on complete car drives to and from work without even a memory of the drive. I could only focus on that memory and never get out of it. I'd relive those days where the classmates ridiculed me for being a Jehovah's Witness. I'd remember and re-feel the shame because I didn't stand up for myself then. I'd get a lot of bullying. They'd bloodied my nose a couple of times. On the school bus, I'd be crushed under one of the kids until I'd pass out, or shaking me on the bus, calling me Jehovah's Hova, smashing my face against the seats. I remember the bus driver looking in his mirror above his head, and not once did he raise his voice or even stop the bus. Or the day that it stained my lack of confidence in grade school, redoing writing practice in the hallway. I can't really remember the age. The teacher, Mr. Miller, was leading the class from recess. He walked by me, sitting on the floor looking at my paper. He commented, "If you were in my class with spelling and handwriting like that, I would have failed you on the first day. You're going to be in this hallway forever, and you're never going to amount to anything." He wasn't even my teacher. But I do remember also, as he continued to walk away, the class that was behind him, I got looks from, shaking their heads. All the students that walked by, a lot of them were classmates that I knew in previous grades. I can still see them and remember them mocking me, acting disappointed. I would think, why am I this way? I must be really terrible. I guess I deserve it. I can't spell, my handwriting is terrible, I'm just going to fail. I would have this memory and others over and over, and it stopped me from wanting to go to school, it stopped me from trying, it stopped me from even writing, which was something that I once had a passion in. Looking back now, I do wonder, bus drivers, teachers, and other kids, why didn't you help? Why didn't somebody say something? I've had all these types of flashbacks longer than I can remember and never even wondered if it was normal or not. I'm only now starting to understand what they are and how to manage them. I got a lot out of Peter Walker's book, Complex PTSD from Surviving to Thriving. He lays out 13 steps on how to manage these flashbacks, and I take no rights to this. This is totally him, but I don't want to get it wrong. Number 1, say to yourself, I'm having a flashback. Flashbacks take us into a timeless part of the psyche that feels helpless, hopeless, and surrounded by danger as we were in childhood. The feelings and sensations you are experiencing are memories that cannot hurt you now. And just as I, not ever able to get out of that flashback, I would cycle through that thing, and it would be so defeating and so exhausted by the end of it. One of the hardest steps to really start getting into it is that first one. I'm having a flashback. Number 2, remind yourself, I feel afraid, but I'm not in danger. He goes on and says, I'm safe now, here in the present. Remember, you are now in the safety of the present, far from dangers of the past. And it's true, that thought does help. Reliving some of those issues that I had and went through you do feel as terrified as you can remember feeling back then, thinking it's going to happen again. Number 3, own your right and need to have boundaries. Remind yourself that you do not have to allow anyone to mistreat you. You are free to leave dangerous situations and protest unfair behavior. I always took this as you gotta stop telling yourself that you deserve it. Stop staying with the people. Stop being friends with people that aren't really your friends. Stop because you don't deserve it. Deconstruct eternity thinking in childhood. Fear and abandonment and felt endless. A safer future was unimaginable. Remember, the flashback will pass, as it has many times before. And I do agree with that, and it is a comfort feeling when you're in those flashbacks. You have to remember it is going to pass. I would love to say time heals all wounds, but man, that road is not easy. Remind yourself, number 6, that you are an adult body with allies, skills, and resources to protect you that you never had as a child. Feeling small and little is a sure sign of a flashback. It is. You do have friends, you do have resources. I mean, heck, Google helped me find a lot of this. You can find ways to get you out of it. You have to do the work, but it's a lot better than what it used to be. It's easier to find them. And I mean, heck, YouTube has everything nowadays. Ease back into your body. Fear launches us into heady worrying or numbing and spacing out. This is kind of like the whole meditation thing. You know, I know a lot of people, especially in my family, they don't buy into it. It does help, but do it how you're comfortable with it. Relaxing your body. Breathe deeply and slowly. Slow down. Heck, I just yesterday had to take a really hot shower and just get away from any other thoughts until I felt like I was okay. Do what makes you relaxed. Number 8, resist the inner critic. This can't even be stated hard enough that you are your worst enemy when it comes to how you perceive yourself. You are not this terrible thing. You did not deserve the abuse. You really should have had adults there to protect you when you were a child, or people to protect you when you're an adult. You know, a lot of people do have flashbacks from adult issues too. Allow yourself to grieve. Flashbacks are opportunities to release old, unexpected feelings of hurt and abandonment, and to validate and soothe the child's experience of helpless and hopelessness. Healthy grieving can turn into tears, into self-compassion, and our anger into self-protection. It's okay to cry. It's okay to grieve from those feelings of abandonment, from those feelings that it was not fair that you were targeted. Don't beat yourself up, and don't beat up the child that was not able to protect themselves that you are envisioning you were. Cultivate safe relationships and seek support. Take time alone when you need it. I know I do. But don't let shame isolate you. Feeling shame doesn't mean you're shameful. Educate your intimates about flashbacks and ask them to help you talk and feel your way through them. I'm not saying everybody is going to be understanding of this. Heck, you may get some people that don't believe you. But the people that truly love you will listen, but you have to be strong enough to talk. Figure out what you are flashing back to. Flashbacks are opportunities to discover, validate, heal our wounds from the past abuse and abandonment. They are also the point still unmet development needs and can provide motivation to get them met. Be patient, number 13, with a slow recovery process. It takes time in the present to become unadrenalized and considerable time in the future to gradually decrease the intensity, duration, and frequencies of a flashback. Real recovery is a gradual process, not attained salvation fantasy, and then don't beat yourself up for having a flashback. I know I skipped a few numbers there. The words were there, and I'll post them in the YouTube blog below. But most importantly, reach out, get some help. CPTSD Foundation exists to raise awareness for complex trauma research and to provide a safe space for survivors of trauma to come and feel welcomed and encouraged. CPTSD Foundation exists to raise awareness for complex trauma research and to provide a safe place for survivors of trauma to come and feel welcomed and encouraged. Our peer support programs are designed through a trauma-informed lens, which means they're created and maintained with the awareness of the unique needs that survivors have as they navigate daily in the wake of a traumatic past. We focus on helping to end cycles of complex relational trauma by providing safety, life skills, relocational education, and reparative experiences needed to create new daily habits, improving every area of life. To learn more about the organization, complex PTSD, and our programs, including a program for supportive partners and caregivers of trauma, please visit cptsdfoundation.org.